Hey there and welcome back to Tube Guruji channel. Today we are going to build logo making application for your app, and this application we are going to build with the help of React. So if you are new on this channel, please subscribe to our channel because this complete course is a beginner friendly and you will learn a lot of different things in this particular video. So let's first walk through the application and learn what we are going to build in this particular video. So if you see on the screen, we have this beautiful landing page where we are gonna add all the functionality to create your own logo for your application. So if you see on the right hand side, we have the side navigation bar, and here you can jump from icon background where you have this beautiful control. Now on this side, on the icon side, or we can call it as an icon controller, where you can select the bunch of icon from the list. Also, not only that, but you can have a choice to select the colorful icon as well. Okay, so let's select this icon and boom, right now if you see on the screen, we have this icon ready. Now you have option to change the size of the icon, or even you can rotate this icon. If you want to change the color of the icon, you can just change the color as well. Okay, now you have this beautiful color picker option where you can select the color from the thousands of color palette. Next, if I go to the background section where you have option to change the corner of this particular app icon. Now even though you can change the padding of this iron icon, here you can have fully control, and this beautiful slider or range selection, we're gonna learn how to add that one and how to set everything, right? Also, if you want to change the background color, you have option to change the background color from the different range of colors. Also, not only that, but you will see the option called gradient, and as soon as I select the gradient, you will see this gradient effect. Okay, here you can have linear gradient as well as the radial gradient as well. You can have option, you can just change the value. Here you have different option as well. Okay, this is looks so beautiful and cool, right? Also, you're gonna learn how can we divide this screen into different section. On the right hand side, you will see this banner for your advertisement. Okay, and as I say, once you're done with this creation of the icon, you will see this download button to download the icon, and if I click on download, boom, the icon get downloaded over here, right? Now if I open this icon, and you will see this high resolution icon downloaded within a second. So this complete application is a beginner friendly and it's completely responsive. Now if I go to this icon, and if I want to select some different icon from this colorful icon, just select the one which you like. So if I say select this burger icon, and boom, the burger icon now is showing on the screen. Let's change the color of the background. So I will select the some dark background color, or let's add black one. Here you can change the padding. You can change the size as well over here, and then once you are okay with this, just download it. Now this particular application, you can use it to build a logo for your app, any application, web application. Not only that, but you can create your own logos to your mobile and web application where you can use it as an icon. And obviously I'm gonna tell you how can we add the bunch of these different icons in your list, so you can update it every time to the user. And not only that, here as well I'm going to provide a bunch of different icons for a free, and all of these application source code you will find in the link in the description. The link I already provided, in that one you will find everything to run this application. Now guys, if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And if you really want to join the tubeguruji.com, where you will get the exclusive courses on my channel, along with that you will get the free source code as well, and you can even track each course chapter by chapter. If I go in your course, you will see all the chapters where you can track it. You can even see the demo of your application, or you can watch it on YouTube, and everything you can get it only for under $7. So guys, just join it and learn to build this beautiful application. And now this application, you can monetize it with the advertise. You can make the paid features where you can select some of the color icon for a paid and that kind of feature. So guys, without doing any further delay, let's begin to develop this beautiful logo making application called Logo Express. So in order to create a React application, we are going to use a Vite, which is the front-end build tool. The reason that we are using build because it's very fast, it's very instant to serve your application, and it has a lot of rich out-of-box feature. Okay, and you will obviously go to this vite.js.dev, which is the official website, and just click get started so that you will learn how to create the Vite application. So this is a simple command line to create a Vite application. So copy this command, then go to your project where you want to create this application and open terminal at that folder. So I will increase the size and then paste this command. So it's just npm create Vite at latest, then you have to give the project name. So here I will say logo maker, logo maker app web. Then you can select the framework. So here you will see we have different bunch of framework like vanilla, Vue, React. Okay, so obviously we will go with the React. Then we have to select the variant. So we have the TypeScript or JavaScript as well. Okay, so in this particular example we're gonna select the JavaScript, and boom, if you see our application is now ready. Let's open a VS Code and locate the folder where you just created this particular project. So in this case for me it's document next.js. I gave the name and this particular folder. Say yes, I trust the author, and boom, if you see on the left hand side we have bunch of different folders. Okay, so one which is the public folder, which you can put all your images and assets file. Inside the source folder, which is the where we are going to write our all the codes, where we're gonna create all our files. Okay, so we have the main.jsx file, which is the starting point of our application. If you see, this app component is getting rendered inside inside between this React .strict mode component. Then we have index.css file, which is the CSS for the complete application. So whenever you define any CSS over here, it will be applicable throughout the application. Then we have app.jsx file, which is the default page of our application, where obviously this is the starting point of your application, and whatever CSS which is applied for app.jsx file, which is it is in app.css file. Okay, then we have index.html, which is the main file, means when you run your application, this index.html file will get rendered, and inside this div id root, right, inside this div tag your application going to render. Then we have package.json file, which contains the name of the application, the version, along with the script to run your application or to build your application. Then you will see the dependency and some dev dependency as well. And the last, the vite.config.js, which is the configuration related to your Vite application. Now, first thing you need to do is to install the dependency. So here you need to type npm install, and then it will install all the dependency which is inside this package.json file. So it will install React DOM along with the dev dependency, and if you see, all the library or file dependencies are get installed, and it instantly create this new folder called node_module. Obviously we are not going to touch to this particular folder. Now in order to run this application, go to the new terminal and click new terminal, and here you just need to type npm run dev, and you will see it opened the port 5173 on a localhost. Okay, so open this URL and you will see your application is running on the screen. Now I will put this on the right hand side so you can see what are the changes we make. Now if I go to the inside the public folder, or not public, inside the source folder under the app.jsx file, right, which I said this is the default page. Okay, so now if I change this to Tube Guruji and save it, you will see as soon as I save it, on the right hand side on the screen it get reflected immediately. That's how fast and hot reload features are there, right? So there are a lot of things that we are going to learn in this particular course, because we are developing this beautiful logo maker application. Now I clean all of this code and save it, and I will just put h2 tag, and here we'll say subscribe to Tube Guruji. So guys, if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And if you see, the text is showing on the screen. Now right now obviously text is showing in the middle of the screen, but you can change that one. If I go to this index.css file, okay, if I scroll down inside the body tag, here you will see the display flex and place item to be in the center. And also you can remove this width and height, we don't want that one. And if I go to this app.csx file, here as well the text align is in the center, right? We give the padding over here, so remove that padding. Margin auto, remove that one too. And whatever the required, you don't need that particular field, you can just remove that one. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Now I think we are good. Now the thing is, right, we need to install a couple of one library called Tailwind CSS. And if you never use Tailwind CSS, don't worry, because in this course we're gonna learn that one as well. So just on the Google, just type Tailwind CSS Vite. Okay, so it will give you the installation step to install the Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS is a very popular library, okay, and it make your writing the CSS is very easy and comfortable. So first thing, as we already created the Vite project, so we'll skip this first step and let's jump to the second step. So let me bring this down like this. The second step is to install this Tailwind CSS auto prefixer. So copy this one and then click new terminal and paste this installations. Okay, and then you need to install this npm Tailwind CSS in it. Okay, so copy this one, paste it here, and once it is installed, you will see it created to two files. One is postcss.config.js and another is tailwind.config.js file. Now if you scroll down, inside this tailwind.config.js file, you have to add this content. So copy this content and just add it here. Let's save this one and scroll down. Then in index.css file, you have to add this 3 line of code. So let's go to this index.css file and at the top I will add it here and save it, and then you just need to run your application again. Now let me add this sample code. Okay, so inside this app.jsx file, just to make sure that the Tailwind CSS is installed. Now if you see over here, it's we added the class name, and this is a Tailwind CSS class which is text3xl. If you hover on this one, you will see the corresponding CSS attributes. So text3xl means font size of 30 pixel and line height of 36 pixel. Same thing with the font bold, which is nothing but the font weight, and underline, which give the text decoration. Okay, now save this one. Let's go back to your application and refresh the screen. Let me refresh and make sure to rerun again. Okay, and now if you see, the hello world is showing along with this particular Tailwind CSS classes. Okay, so that's how guys you need to set up your Tailwind CSS. Now another important thing is inside the VS Code, go to this extension. Okay, and inside this extension you have to install two important extensions. One is React Redux ES7 plus. This particular extension, make sure to install. Right now I already installed, so it's showing this disable button, but if you did not install this one, then you will see the install button. Make sure to install it. Then another is the Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. So make sure to install this one. So this is very important when you are writing Tailwind CSS. So it will give you the suggestion when you write the Tailwind CSS classes, and very easy to use as well. So make sure to install these two particular extension for the VS Code. Now another important thing we need to set up is the shadcn library. So let's type a shadcn. So I will type on Google, you will see this ui.shadcn.com. So this is a Tailwind CSS based library, and it has a very much or a lot of predefined component. and very easy to use. Okay, so first thing what we will gonna do, we will install this library, and obviously once we start developing our application, you will learn how to use this shadcn component. So on the document you will see this installation, and you have to select the framework. So in this case is our is Vite. So in order to install the shadcn in your Vite application, these are some steps we need to follow. So we already created this Vite application and we already installed the Tailwind CSS. So we'll skip this two step. Then we have to edit this ts.config.json file, but we are not using the TypeScript, so we need to create a new file called js.config.json file and just paste this line of code. Okay, so whatever the line of code you see over here. Then we need to install this npm type node, and then we need to update the vite.config.ts file. Okay, so just copy this one, go here and replace this with a new one. Okay, next thing, we need to run this CLI in order to install a shadcn. So copy this one, go to your terminal and paste it here. So it will start installing and ask some questions. So it will ask you, would you like to use which style you want to use, right? So say default, you can select anyone. The base color you can select anyone. I will select the neutral. Then it will ask you, do you want to use CSS variable? Okay, and also you can refer this particular question answer. Okay, so how to answer it and all. So here we'll say yes, and then it will write the component.json file. I don't know, sometimes it asks a lot of question. Right now I think we are good to go. Here if you see, we have this source folder. Inside that we have our folder are there, but inside the app folder we have this Tailwind the global CSS file, okay, which contain all of this CSS variable and all. Now in order to test it, right, in order to use this, you just import this button component, and I will just install it here, and then you can just use this button component inside your application. So let's go to this app.jsx file, which is our default page. Over here I will just paste it here, and make sure to import this button component, okay, from this component /ui.button. And if you see, inside the source folder is created two new folder called component UI and library. Let's save this one, go to your project, and then if I go over here, let's refresh the screen. Right now if you see, we have the button, but I don't know why the color is not the one which you want. So let's go to this global CSS, and inside the primary I will change this color to black one, and still showing the same. Now let's install this button. So copy this command to install the shadcn button, paste it here, and then once it installed, you can use this button component. Make sure to import this button component. So if you see, this button component is importing from the component /ui/button, and if I go to this source and component folder, right, is created when we initialize the shadcn. Inside that under the UI folder we have this button.jsx file. Okay, you can even modify this one if you want. Now let's save this one, go to your project, and if I refresh the screen, if you see, the click now button is showing on the screen. So that's how you can add the button. Now this button has a different variant. Okay, if you want the outline variant, you can just add the outline like this, and if I go back, you will see the button like this. Now all of this variant you can even customize this one. If I go to this button component, right, inside this component folder, you will see this different variant called default, destructive, outline, secondary, ghost, and link. Okay, so that's how you can modify the button component as well. One of the most important thing we want to update is the theme color of your application. Right now, if you remember, we use the slate from the shadcn, but we can use our own. So let's go to this tailwind.config.js file, and here under this primary section you will see the default color. Okay, we'll replace this default color with our own color code. So here I will put #F15757 and save it. Now if I go back to our application, let me refresh it. Okay, let's remove this outline first, so I don't want the variant, and here the default color will look like this. Okay, so this will be our default color for our application. So whenever you import the component, the primary color will be this one. So I hope you understand how we created the Vite React application, then how we install the Tailwind CSS, and then we also covered to set up the shadcn UI library. Now in this section, we are going to implement the header and the side navigation bar for our application. So I already added this logo.svg file for our application logo inside the public folder. Now let's go back to our app.jsx file, and that's where we want to add the header. But before that one, we'll add inside the component folder, we'll add our own component, and here we'll say header.jsx. Add the default template by just typing rfc, because we already have the extension which we installed for the VS Code, and if I enter it, you will see the template is get added. Now let's save this one and let's go back to our app.jsx file. I will remove this button and here simply add the header and then save it. Now you will see on the screen with the text header. Next, let's go to the header.js file, and inside here I will remove this one and let's add the image. So image source, and now in order to get the this logo.svg, you just give the name of the file, and the React Vite automatically detect that you are trying to access the assets from this public folder. If I save this one, you will see the image for our application. Now for this div, let's add a class name. We'll give a padding of maybe let's say 4. Let's save it and let's see how it looks. Perfect. Also I will give a shadow small, we'll add a border, so we'll give the effect like a header. Now on the right hand side, I want to add a button to download the logo which user created. So here simply I will add a button, and here I will say download and save it. Now if I go back, you will see the download button. Now we want this download button on the right hand side. So for this div, let make it flex, then make justify between, and then item to be in the center. You will see the download button in the right hand side. Now once we install the shadcn, right, it also install one library called lucide.dev for the icons, and it's very easy to use library. Okay, so whatever the icon you need, you will see that icon name over here. Now in order to show the download icon, right, here you will just say download, and if you see this particular icon is importing from the Lucide React over here, and then save it. And if I go back, you will see the download icon over here. You can even give some styling to this one. So here I will give styling, height of 4, width of 4, and for this button we'll add a class name. We'll make it flex, and we'll add a gap of 2, and let's make item to be in the center. And now if you see, we have this beautiful download button. Perfect. Okay, so that's how easily we added this header for our application. Now it's time to add the side navigation bar. So for that one, inside this component folder, I will create a new file and we'll call it as a SideNav.jsx. Add the default template and then save it. Now let's go to the app.jsx file, and over here I will add one div. Inside this div, we'll add this SideNav like this. Okay, now for this SideNav, I will add a class name and we'll say width of 64, or you can just give like this. And if I hover on this one, you will see the corresponding width, and then we'll say fix and save it. If I go back, you will see the side navigation bar. Also I'm going to add one more div, and we'll give a class name, but for this div we'll give a margin left to 64, and here we'll say body. Okay, and that we have, you will see. So on the right hand side you will see the side navigation bar and the body section where we gonna add all our implementation to make a control of the icon and all. Okay, but this is just a side navigation bar and dedicated space for that one. Now let's go to the side navigation bar, and inside this one I'm going to add the couple of let's add a menu list over here so that we can just iterate this one. So inside that I will add id1 name as a icon. Then let me bring this down. Here we'll say a background id2, and the last we have id3, we'll say upgrade, so user can upgrade to premium so that he can download more icons for free. Now we have this 3 menu list. Obviously you can add more icon to this one. For example, if I want to add an icon, right, you can search something for the icon. So if I go here and search something, edit icon, something like this, right? So I will add this pencil ruler. So you can just say pencil ruler. For the background I will add image, and for upgrade I will add the shield. And now inside this div we'll just iterate that particular menu list. Okay, so here we'll add one div. Inside that we'll just say menu list dot map, we'll say menu comma index, and let's add the div over here. Let's add h2 tag. Now inside this h2 tag we'll give menu dot name. Okay, and for the class name we'll add, not class name, but here we'll add key as an index. Some unique identifier you need to provide to each item which you are iterating. Now if I go back to our application, you will see the 3 menu is showing on the screen. Now let's apply some styling to this one. So here let's add a class name. So we'll add a padding of 3. We'll say text large, padding x to 7, and the color of the text will be a text gray 500. Okay, let's save this one. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. After this one I will add a margin y to 2, and let's see. Perfect. Now on the hover we want to change the color. First I will make this as a cursor pointer. Now on hover we want to change the background color to a primary color, and then also on hover we'll change the text color to white. And if I change this one, see, this is how it looks. If you think you want to give more padding, you can just add more padding over here. Perfect. And now we have this beautiful section. For this particular div, let's add a class name. We'll say a border and some shadow small. So we'll get some border, and here let's add a height to the screen. So it will be a full height like this. And now we have dedicated side navigation bar with this beautiful icon, the menu list. Now here you can just add the icon as well. So let me bring this down, and we'll say menu dot icon, because this is a component, right, and that component we directly added here, and you can just render that one as well. If I save this one, you will see the icon as well. Now let's bring in one line. So here we'll make it flex, we'll make item to be in the center, and then we'll gap of 2. Perfect. Next, once user click on any of the icon, right, we need to make sure that that icon is get selected. So let me add a constant. We'll say active index comma set active index is equal to use state. Okay, so initially the active index will be 0, and here we need to add a conditional styling. So in order to add a conditional styling, first you need to wrap this class name inside the curly braces, then this tag, remove this single quote, and then you can write the condition. So inside the dollar and curly braces, so inside the curly braces just add the active index is equal to the index, the current index, right? So this is the current index which we are matching with, and then you can add the condition and we'll say background to be primary and text to be white. Let's save this one, and boom, if I click on this background, right, it should be active as a background color. So that on the click of this s2 tag, let's add on click event, we'll add set active index as the index. So whatever the index is you have over here, you can just make it as active and then save it. Now let's save this one and let's go back to our application. Now if I click on this background, see, now these are the active one. Okay, perfect. So that's how you can add the side navigation bar, and you can make that button as active as soon as you click on that one. Now you can do some corner rounded and all. Okay, I will keep as it is for now. We'll make this UI much simpler. Now once you click on any of this button, right, we have to pass this to a parent component, the active index. So here on the click, right, along with this active index, we are setting the active index, right. I will also set selected I will say selected index, and then we'll pass that index, and this selected index method we need to pass back to the parent component through the side navigation bar. Now if I go to this app.jsx, here you will see the selected index. Okay, for now I will just console the value. So here whatever the value we are getting, that we will console it, and let me show you in the console. So if I go to the inspect panel, go to the console, clean everything, and if I click background, you will see, depends on the selection, you will see the index value. Okay, now this index value obviously we need it in order to show the respective control panel for the icon or background. Now we want to divide this particular body section into three different parts. So consider this is our side navigation, and at the top we have the header already, right? And on this side we have to add this one section for our control panel, where we gonna add the slide or color to pick. Okay, then another section for the icon preview, and the last here on the right hand side we're gonna give a space to advertise. So you can add ads, Google ads, or any banner which you want. Okay, so all of these three we want to divide, means in this way we want to divide our screen into three equal parts. Not equal, but this is how the section will look like. Okay, so let's go back to our application. Inside the VS Code, here this was our body tag. Okay, now we're gonna add one div. Inside this div, let's first add a grid to this particular div, and when the screen size is smaller, we'll make this grid column 1, but when the screen size is medium or larger, we'll make grid column of 6. So out of this 6 column, right, I will add a class name. We need to add the 2 column to first div. Okay, which one? Which is this one, the control panel. Then 3 column to this icon preview, and the remaining one for this add column. So let's add 3 column, means 3 div first. Let me format this, and then for this first, as I say, we have to assign 2 column out of this 6 column. So I will make column span 2, and make sure this is applicable only when the screen size is medium or larger. Same thing, when the screen size medium or larger, we make grid column, and we'll assign 3 column out of this 6 column. So we have 2 plus 3, which is 5 column, is already given to this 2 column, and remaining one will assign to this another or last div. So here I will say control panel, then here we'll say icon preview, and here we'll say add banner. Let's save this one and let's go back to our application, and here you will see, just for visualization purpose, I will add some background over here. Here will be the red we'll add for now, and here we'll add blue. If I save this one, and here you will see the control panel, the icon preview, and add banner. This is how we divide our screen into 3 different sections. Okay, now obviously first thing we'll focus on the control panel. Now let's implement the control panel for the icon and the background. So let's go back to our application, and inside the app here we have this control panel. Now I will remove this background green because I just added to this just to show the column that we define. Now inside the app.jsx, right here we need to add this two controller. So first thing, inside the component folder I will create a new file, and here we'll say icon controller.jsx, add the default template, and I will create another one inside the component, and I will call it as a background controller.jsx, and add the default template and save it. Now inside the app.jsx we gonna add this icon controller and then the background controller. But on the click of this icon and background, we need to just show the icon controller if you just select the icon, or background controller if you just select the background controller. So for that one, if you remember, we have this selected index, and depend on that one we're gonna switch this controller. Okay, so first we'll save this index in one state. So here we'll say selected index comma set selected index is equal to use state, and instead of console log, here I will just set selected index. Now here I will simply add a condition: if selected index is equal to 0, then I'm going to show icon controller. Okay, so this is a ternary operator. Otherwise I'm gonna add a background controller like this and save it. Now if I go back to our application, if I select the icon, you will see the icon controller. If I select the background, you will see the background controller, and that's how it switched from one to other. Next to this one, to particular to this div, we'll add a border, we'll add a height to be screen. Let's see how it looks, and we'll add some shadow small. Okay, perfect. Also we'll add a padding of 5, so it will be little inside now. And now let's go to the icon controller. So on the icon controller we need to give option to select the icon. So let's add one div. Here I'm gonna add a label, we'll call it as icon, and then we're gonna add one div, not div but just we'll add an icon. So for now, if I go to this Lucide icon, right, we'll add some default icon, like let's say smile. So this will be our default icon we add. So just add a smile like this, and for this icon let's do one thing, let's add a div over here, and then let's save it. Let's go back just to make sure that it's working fine. So if you see, now we have this icon. Let's apply some styling. So let's add a class name. Here we'll add a padding of 3. We'll make cursor pointer. The background will be in the gray color 200. We'll make rounded medium, and width to be like 50 pixel to this div. Let me bring this down, and height as well to 50 pixel. Okay, and we'll make flex item to be in the center, justify center. So you will see this beautiful box, and obviously if I hover on it, right, you will see the cursor pointer. Also for this div I'm gonna add margin y to maybe, well, let's add a 2. Perfect. And this will be our icon picker. Obviously on the click of this icon, we're gonna open the dialog where you will select the bunch of icons. So this is just placeholder for that one. Okay, it's a kind of button. Next we want to add the option to select the size. Okay, so for example we want a range component where user can resize it or rotate it, right? That kind of a range component we want to add now. So for that one I'm going to use a shadcn component. So go to the component, and inside here you will find one component called slider. So let's say slider, this one. Okay, and if you see, this is how it works. So this is the slider, and in order to use it, first we have to install this component through this this command. So inside the terminal, just install it, and once it installed, right, this is the way that you can use it. So copy this import statement first inside the icon controller, just paste it, and then let's copy this example. Now I will make another div. Here we'll make a label, and we'll simply say size. Okay, and below that we'll add the slider. Let's save this one and let's test this out. So if I go back to our application, let me go back over here, and if you see, now we have the icon, and then we have the size over here, where you can just move this size from 0 to 100. Okay, obviously you can mention the minimum and maximum size as well, but before that let's apply some styling to this one. So for this div, I'm going to add a class name padding y to 2. For this label, we'll add a class name, and we'll add padding of 2. We'll add also, I want to show, I will gonna add span tag actually, and to this span tag I'm gonna show the size. Okay, for example, whatever the size we selected from here, it will show, which will be in the pixel size. Let's say for example 200 pixel, and let's add the styling. So I will say justify between, then item to be in the center, and save it like this. And then for the slider, we're gonna update this maximum size to 512, and obviously we want to add default size. Let's add for example 280. Okay, now in order to hold the size value, right, we're gonna define the constant size comma set size is equal to use state, and here we can define the default size. For example, let's say 280, and this size will replace with this actual the state which we define. Also I think let's save this one and let's see how it looks. So right now if you see, let me update one more thing. So this will be a size. Here we need to replace with the size, and then whenever the value of the slider change, we need to update the value. So here we'll simply have a method called on value change, and this will emit the event e, and inside that, okay, let me add in this way, and we'll set the size using the event, and in that one the first value that contain actual size. Okay, so let's save this one and go back to our application. Now if I change this size, you will see the size change. The maximum size is 512, the minimum is 0. Okay, if I refresh this one, that's what you see, right? The default one to 280 pixel, but as you know that you can just change this one. Perfect. Same thing, we're gonna copy it and paste it here, but in this case we're going to change the size to rotate. So obviously you can rotate the icon, and instead of pixel we want to change to degree, something like the 0, right? So just go here and find the degree icon. So create text, something like this. So let's copy this one from the Google and just paste it here, and instead of size we will add the rotate state. So let's create one state, we'll say rotate, say set rotate, and the initial value will be 0, and then replace this rotate over here. That's good. And instead of setting the size, here we'll say set rotate. The maximum value I'm going to use the 360, and the default will be the 0. Let's save this one and go back to our application. Now if you see, the rotate value also changed, and the maximum value is now 360. So that's how you can add the controller. Now next thing we need to add is to pick the color. Okay, now for the color picker we are going to use one library called React based gradient color picker, and it's very easy to integrate and easy to use, and it provides a lot of functionality. So very first thing, copy this command in order to install this library. So let's open a terminal and paste this command, and once it installed, right, you can ready to use it. So inside the component folder, I'm going to create a new component called color picker controller.jsx. The reason I'm keeping this color picker in the different component, because we want to reuse this color picker in other component as well, like in the background controller you want to use this color picker, right? Now let's add a default template over here, and if I go back to this library, right here, if you come down, you will see this color picker. This is how you can use it. So copy this command and then paste it here, and let's add the color picker in the import statement like this. Now before this one, here you need to define the state called color, set color is equal to use state, and inside that you can provide this default color. For example, let's provide this default color RGBA to 255. This is the RGBA color code, okay? And then let's save it. Now one more important thing we need to do, as soon as user pick the color, right, we need to send this color information to the parent component. But before that, let's import this color picker inside our icon controller. So over here I will copy this div, and instead of slider we want to add the color picker controller, and obviously the label I'm going to change this. I don't want span tag as well. Here we'll say icon color and save it. Now let's go back to our application, and here you will see this beautiful color picker. Okay, right now if you see the color picker is going out of bound. So let's do one thing. You can add the overflow auto to this. Let's go to the app.js where we have this div, right? So over here we can just add the overflow auto. Okay, so it will be a scrollable like this. Okay, now over here, in order, because we want the icon on the this icon color will be in the solid form, right? We want to remove this controller. We don't want this solid gradient and all of this information, right? So it's very easy to do it, and obviously for some of the controller we want that particular what will say particular gradient color selection, right? So here I'm gonna add one variable. Here we say hide controller. Okay, and initially we'll make it, the value will be make it false, and wherever you want to hide it, right, you can just pass that information as a true in order to hide it. So I will add the hide controller and we'll make it as a true. Let's save it, and inside the hide control picker, right, here we have the option called hide controls, and then we'll simply pass this hide controller value. Okay, along with that you can hide some of the option which we never wanted. So then hide eyedrop, then we have hide advanced slider. Okay, if you want to keep it you can, but we don't want in this example, so I will just remove it. Okay, and save it. Now if I go back to our application, you will see the selection of the gradient is hidden from it. Obviously if you want it, you can just pass the value of the hide controller as a false. Okay, so right now one more important thing, if you scroll here, right, if you see the header is moving, so what you can do, let's go to this app.jsx file, and that's where we have this controller, right, icon controller. For this one you can mark it as a fix and save it. Now if I try to move, right, the header is not moving, only this particular section which is the icon controller is moving. Okay, moving back to our icon controller, here we need to get the color whichever user is selected. So let's go to this color picker controller, and we have this on change method, right, where we are setting the color. So over here I will remove this one and I will put E, which is the event, and here we'll set the color. So it will just return the this RGBA color. So I will just set the color, but along with that we need to pass the color to the parent component. So here we'll say selected color, and then inside this one, okay, just yeah, selected color, and then we pass the event E. Now this selected color will pass through this prop, and inside the icon controller will accept it here as a selected color. So here I will say color, and then we will set one state to hold this color value. So here we'll say color set color. The initially will be empty, or you can just put FFF, and then here we'll say set color will be the color, and then save it. Now obviously as soon as you select the color, you will get the color inside this state. Okay, perfect. Now one more important thing over here, we need to save this all of this information right inside a one local storage. So we'll define a use effect first, and this use effect will execute every time when the this any of the state get changed. So here we'll just type size, comma rotate, comma color. So what will happen whenever the any of this state value change, this use effect will get executed, and inside this use effect we need to update our state. But before that we will get the state information. So here we'll say local, or we'll say storage value is equal to local storage dot get item, and here we'll just simply get the value. Okay, and obviously this value we will pass it in the form of JSON. So we'll say JSON parse. Now here we'll define a constant updated value is equal to, and here first thing you need to define, obviously we need to append the existing value, right? So we'll put dot storage value, means whatever the value we have inside the storage, we'll keep that one, and then we'll update some value. So we'll say icon size with the size, then icon rotate, we'll say rotate, and then icon color will be the color. Okay, and another important thing we're gonna pass is the selected icon, but that will pass later on because we don't have the selection of the icon yet. Okay, but for now I will just pass the icon as a smile. Okay, so this is the simple one, but obviously we want to update it later on. And once your update this update value is ready, you just need to update your local storage. So here you can set the local storage set item value, and then make sure to convert into a string. Okay, so whatever the value you have to convert into string, and then you have to say update value. Perfect, and then save it. Now let me show you this with the actual example and result. So let's go to the inspect panel, and then here you will find the tab called application. Okay, so inside the application you will find your website URL, and here we're going to set the value. Currently if you see, we have this icon and all the basic value, right? But if you change this color, see it immediately change over here. Even if you change the size, it change the size, and if you change the rotation, it will change the rotation. Obviously as soon as we implement the icon, you will get to know how to update that one as well. Okay, but I hope you understand how to store value, because this value we wanted. Even though if you refresh it right now, we are not fetching that value or setting that value, but this value is important in order to display on a icon preview image. Okay, now inside the background controller we need to add three more important controller. Okay, so first is the rounded corner. Okay, so whatever the icons corner we want, that need to be rounded or not, that control we won't need to add. The second is padding. Okay, so that also we will check how to do it. And obviously another is the background color picker. Okay, so obviously the rounded and padding, for that one we are going to add the range selection, the one which we added for the icon one. So let's go to the background, and inside the application, let me close all of this tab, and let's select the background controller. Now first thing, we'll copy the existing div from the icon controller because we want to keep the same format and all. And make sure to import this slider first, and then inside this one we need to add the text as a rounded, and obviously the size we'll put in the pixel. Let's create a state, so it will hold the value. So here we'll say rounded comma set rounded is equal to use state, and for now initially we'll keep at 0, and over here we'll replace this size with the rounded, and here instead of set size here we'll say set rounded with the event 0. The maximum value here we will change it. Let's go maximum 512, that's fine. Default value we'll set to, let's say 0 for now. Here it's a 0, I think that's good. Let's save it and let's test this out. So if you see, if I change it up to 512 pixel, okay, so it's a rounded corner. Another, let's copy this div and we'll make another for the padding. So here we'll say padding. For the padding, initially let's add a 40 and maximum I will add 100, and let's create one state to hold the padding value. And here we'll just replace rounded with the padding and then set padding over here, okay. And if I go back now, here if you see we have this padding as well. Perfect. And the last, we want to use the color picker. So I'm going to use this same div or copy that from the icon controller, so this particular div, and we'll paste it here. Make sure to import this color controller. I don't want to hide it, the controller, so I will make it false. And to hold the value of the color, here we'll simply say color comma set color, okay. And initially value the background color will be, let's add a 0, which is the black one, and I think we are good to go. Let's save everything, let's check it out. And now if you see, we have option to solid and the gradient color picker as well. Now obviously we need, as I say, right, we need to save that in our local storage, so we need to update the value. So let's add a use effect, and inside this use effect we will add a constant update value. And first thing, obviously before mentioning here, we need to get the local storage. Here we'll say storage value is equal to local storage dot get item and the name of the variable inside the local storage. Obviously make sure to convert this into the JSON, so we'll parse this one like this, okay. And now once we have the storage value like this, we'll simply add the background rounded as a rounded, then background padding we'll add as a padding, and background color as color, simply, okay. And the last, we'll set the local storage dot set item value, and here we'll set we'll convert it into JSON stringify, and then we'll add the updated value, okay, and then save it. Now everything looks good to me. Let's go back, go to the inspect panel, go to the network tab. Let's go to application actually, okay. And here we have the value, the basic value, right? If I refresh the screen, you will see that basic thing. Now if I go to the background, if I change the padding, you will see the background padding is getting changed. Same thing, if I change the rounded corner, it's getting changed. And if you see, the color also get changed. If I try to put the gradient color, you will see it's selected gradient. If I change to solid, it will change the solid, okay. And that's automatically we're gonna apply to our icon. So that's how you can change the color combination of your background as well as the icon, okay. So I hope you understand this controller thing. Obviously we already store in our local storage, right? So that's a very good thing that we don't need to pass the value, right? Obviously over here we will update that value, but you will see in a moment how to do it. Now next we're gonna implement the icon preview. Now we are going to implement the icon preview section on this part. Okay, so for that one, let's understand how we gonna destructure our this particular div. Okay, so first thing, let's see, this is our area. This is nothing but this complete icon preview area, and in that we have to add this area for icon. Okay, that's where we gonna put our icon. Now obviously we can scale the size until this area of the icon point. Okay, so maximum you can increase the size of the icon up to this point, or if you want to decrease, you can decrease like this as well. Okay, so basically we have one, the outer div, the middle div, and the another is the icon div. So let's go back to our application. Let me close all of this tab first, and inside the component folder I'm going to create a new file, and we can call it as a logo preview.jsx. Inside that one, let's add a default template and save it. Now this particular logo preview we need to add inside our app.jsx file under this div. So here we'll say logo preview and save it. Now if I go back to our application, here you will see the text logo preview. Okay, so let's go into the logo preview. Here we're gonna add the first div. Okay, for that div I'm gonna give class name. We'll give height of 400 pixel, width of 400 pixel, and then we'll make background of gray. We'll add outline to be dotted, and the outline color I will add as a gray 300. Okay, let's save it and let's see how it looks. So if you see, we have this dotted background color. See, okay, obviously we're going to remove this red color, so because we just added for the testing purpose, so I will remove this and save it. And now if you see, we have this preview section. Now let's bring that in center. So we'll make flex item to be in the center, justify in the center, and then let's save it. Okay, so here we give height to the screen, width full, so it will be in the center like this. Even though if you did not give the width, let's say fix and height to be screen. Oh, fix doesn't looks good to me. Let me remove this width full and let's see whether it's working or not, but I think it's better to remove the fix. Perfect, now it's good. Next let me go to the icon, right? And now we need to show the icon in between this one. You can even change the size. If you think we want 500, you can just update here to 500, and now we will get bigger preview. Okay, next inside this div I'm going to add one more div. So here we'll say div. This is our actual icon. Okay, that's where we're gonna put our icon. Now for this icon we're gonna add a class name. We'll say height to be full and width to be full. Next we're gonna give a style. Okay, but before that, now let's get some information. So here we'll add the constant storage value is equal to local storage dot get item, and here we'll say value. Obviously we'll convert it into a JSON, so we'll make sure JSON pass, and then inside that we'll get the value from the storage. Okay, now for this div we'll add the style. Okay, so inside this one we'll add a border radius, which we can get it from the storage value dot rounded. Okay, I think bg rounded, and make sure to add this optional sign, otherwise you might get error. Also here we're gonna add another one for the background color. So we'll add a background, and here we'll say bg color. Let's save it, and if you see, we have the color. Now obviously, even though if I change the color, it's not reflecting over here because we are not fetching the latest information from the storage. Okay, so question is how to do that. So obviously we need to modify here. So first thing, let's define the use effect, and we have to make sure this use effect will execute whenever there is a change in the value or inside the local storage. And then simply here we'll say constant storage data is equal to, and from this storage data we'll call this method like this. Okay, obviously I will remove it here from this, and here we'll add storage value comma set storage value, because we want this state so that we can update the state as soon as we got the updated once this use effect will get executed. And here simply we'll update the set storage value with the storage value. So make sure to update this as storage data, not value. And now in order to make sure to execute this use effect whenever the value changes inside our local storage, we need to define the context. Through the context we will update the value, and whenever the context change we will execute this use effect. So let's go to this source folder, create a new folder called context. Inside this I will say update storage context.js. Inside this I will create the context by defining export constant update storage context is equal to create context. Okay, from the React, make sure you will import it from the React and then save it. Here we'll pass none. Now inside the app.jsx file I will wrap this context, means I will wrap this complete div inside this context. So we can call it as a update storage context dot provider, because this is very important. We need to wrap it so that we can share any value which we are passing to this particular context provider, and this provider we need to pass the value. So here we'll pass update storage comma set update storage. Okay, so this state we pass. Obviously we need to define the state initial value. So here we define constant is equal to use state and the empty value. Okay, and save it. Now wherever we are updating the value, for example let's go to this component and the icon controller. Over here we need to first initialize this context. So we'll say in a curly braces, make sure you'll define in a curly braces the context, the name of the variable which we pass to this context is equal to use context, and then you need to pass the context name. So in this case our context name is update storage context. Okay, and now you can set the value over here. So you can set this updated value as it is. Okay, you can set any value, but I will keep this value same as the local storage, and save it. Now same thing, obviously you need to apply for the background controller. So I will also define over here, make sure to import this use context and update storage context, and then we'll set the update storage with the updated value like this. Okay, and save it. Next let's copy the storage context we needed and go to the logo preview and paste it here. Make sure to import this use context and the update storage context. Right now obviously we are updating this storage value, right? So whenever there is update we will execute this use effect. Okay, just for your confirmation we'll console it with the storage data and then save it. Now if I go back to our application and go to the inspect panel, go to the console, make sure to refresh it once, clean this out, and let me bring this. And just now if I change this size, you will see inside the logo preview, the line number 11, this use effect get executed and we are getting the updated data from the local storage. See, line number 11. Okay, so that's how you can get the updated value. Now if I go to the background and try to change the background, see the background getting changed immediately. Even you can change this color combination. If you want to apply gradient effect, you can apply the gradient effect. See how beautifully we applied this gradient effect as well, right? You have circular gradient as well. From there you can apply the circular gradient. So that's how you can add the background or update the background. Now if you want to apply the radius, let's try the radius. So make the rounded corner and boom, if you see, it's changed the radius, and this is our actual icon will be. Okay, now let's add the icon for your application. So in order to add the icon, right, we are using the Lucide icon list. As I defined, right, all of this list, if you see on the screen, that's what we are going to use inside our application. But for now we don't have the list yet, so I will just use the existing icon which we pass to our local storage, which is this mile one. Okay, so let's implement that one. So inside the logo preview, inside here first we'll define a constant icon is equal to, and inside the icon we'll pass the name, the color and the size, and here we'll define constant Lucide icon is equal to icons. Now these icons we are importing from the Lucide React, and here we need to provide the name. Okay, then we have to add a condition. If Lucide icon is not there, then we'll return the empty value. Okay, but if there is some value inside the Lucide icon, we'll just define the Lucide icon like this, and then we'll pass the color as a color and size as a size and save it. Now once we define this icon, now let's use it over here. So inside this div I'm going to define this icon, and then we'll provide the name. Currently obviously whatever value we have inside the storage value, so storage value dot icon, then color as a storage value dot icon color, and the next is the size. So here again storage value dot icon size. Okay, so these are the value which we provided to this component. Okay, so this is the constant that the method we define with the return statement and all. Now let's save everything and let's go back to our application. So let's save it. So right now I don't know what is the error. Let me go back and check. Okay, so this need to be a size with E and save it. Let me refresh it again. So if you see, we have error that undefined icon size. So make sure to add a question mark like this, and now if you see, we have this beautiful icon. Now obviously we need to bring this in the center of the screen. So for this div, let's make it flex, make it item to be in the center, justified center, and I think that's enough. Let's save it and just check it out, and boom, see. Now if I change the size of the icon, see the size getting changed. If you want to rotate it, right now it's not rotating because we did not apply the rotate style yet. Okay, but you can change the color of the icon, whatever the size color you want. Okay, if I go to the background, here you can make the rounded. The padding we did not apply yet, but you can change the color. Okay, so let's update the padding for the background. So in order to add a padding, we need to add padding to this div. Okay, so here I'm gonna add a style, and inside this style we'll add a padding, and here we'll say storage value dot bg padding, which is background padding. Now if I save it, or let's make sure to add a question mark, and now if I change this padding, see the padding get changed accordingly. Perfect, right? This is a round corner and this is the padding, and whatever you see, this is our actual icon size. Now if I go to the icon, right, here we need to implement the rotate functionality as well. So let's go back to our application, and inside this Lucide icon we want to add a style, and inside this style we want to add the transform, and then add the rotate. Okay, inside this rotate let's add a $sign, and inside that we'll pass the rotate value. Okay, and the last here we'll say degree. Now this rotate value we will accept it through this function, and then from the icon we'll pass rotate as storage value dot rotate. It's icon rotate, I think so. Let's check. So icon controller, and we have icon rotate. That's correct. Okay, and let's save this one and let's test this out. Now if I change this rotate to something like this, see, is get changed immediately. Okay, and now everything is working as expected. Even though if I go to the background and want to change this gradient color, you can even modify the gradient color. You can have this different type of centralized gradient as well, and here you can modify this particular change too. Now one more important thing, if you observe over here, if I change something over here, okay, and go to the icon, you can change the rotate this size, come back and again go, it will reset the value. Even if I change the size and go back, it reset the size of the previous setting, right? So in order to fix this issue, let's go to this icon controller first, and over here we need to set the value first. Okay, so obviously if you remember, if we have this update storage value, either let's define over here, and not this one, I use back the different one, but first let's define the storage value here, and here we just define if the storage value is there, then we define storage value dot icon size, otherwise define this default value. Same thing we're gonna do it for the rotate as well. So I will just copy paste over here, and in this case we'll say icon rotate, and initial value will be 0 if the storage value is absent. If I save this one and if I rotate this one, right, and go back to background, go back to icon, still if you see it's still there. Okay, obviously if you see right now we hard coded this value, so we'll replace with the actual value, and over here as well the actual size. Maybe this need to be in the circular bracket, I think so. If I change to 173, and that's perfect. Okay, same thing we need to do for the background as well. So let's go to the background, and over here this is our storage value which we are fetching from the local storage, and then we'll set the value. If local storage dot bg rounded is there, sorry, if storage value is there, then we'll define the storage value background, otherwise we'll show 0. This is very important, this is ternary operator, make sure you use correctly. Again storage value dot bg padding, and same thing we need to do over here as well. Here we'll say bg color. Okay, I think I forgot to apply color over here as well, icon color, and save it. So initially if the we'll fetch the value from the storage value, and then we will set it there. Okay, and even though you refresh, your changes are persist over here. Now if I change the value, go to the background, come to the icon, see everything will be there. Even though you refresh it, the changes still there. Okay, so that's how you can modify or update your icon properties. So that's all for this particular chapter. I hope you understand, and you also understand how beautifully we implemented this functionality. You also learn how to update or modify and provide the icon property. Now it's time to display the list of icons inside our dialog, so user can pick any of the icon, right? So let's go back to our application, and inside the source folder I'm going to create a new folder, or maybe inside let's create a new folder. Here we'll say constants, and inside that I'm going to create a new file called icon.js. Inside that I will paste all of these icons. Okay, so this is the name of the icon from the Lucide React. So obviously you can get all of these icon list name from the source code. The link is in the description, or you can go to the tubegurji.com to access the exclusive source code. Now let's save it, and let me close all of this tab and go back to our component folder where we have this icon controller, right? And that's where we added this icon. Now we need to implement a dialog, and for that one I'm going to use a shadcn dialog component. So if I go to the dialog here, you will find, if I edit it, right, this is how the dialog will work. Very easy to implement. First, make sure to install this dialog component inside your project, and then instead of adding the dialog over here, right, I'm going to create a new component under the component folder, and we can call it as a icon list.jsx. Then add a default template and then save it. Then you need to import this component. So let's copy and go back, and let's import it here. Let's save this one. Then this is the simple example to add a dialog, so let's add that one as well and paste it. Now we have our own button where we on the click of that one we want to open the dialog, right? So let's do one thing. Let me copy this and cut it from here, and inside the icon list I will simply paste it here like this, okay, where we have this icon and the smile button. Make sure to import the smile from the Lucide React for now, and then save it. Now this icon list component will add inside our icon controller. So here we'll say icon list. Let's save this one, and if I go back to our application, if you see, it's still there, right? But the dialog is not opening, obviously, inside the icon list, right? Let's remove this icon dialog trigger first, and we are going to define one state. We'll say open dialog comma set open dialog is equal to use state. Initially it will be a false, and for this dialog it has a property called open, and then we'll simply pass open dialog value. Okay, now on the click of this div, so here we'll add on click event, not here, basically we'll add it to this div. So on click we'll simply set open dialog to be true, and then save it. Now if I go back and click on this one, you will see the dialog is open. Okay, obviously it's not closing because we don't have the logic to close that one, but we'll add it in a moment. Now here I will change this title to, we'll say pick your favorite icon, pick your favorite icon, and then save it. Now as I told you, right, inside this utils folder we already, inside the constant folder we already have the icon list. This icon list we need to iterate it. So inside this job description I will remove this one. Here I will gonna add div, and inside div we'll just iterate this icon list. So make sure to import, and then here we'll say item, not item, let's say icon dot index, and arrow function like this. Now here we'll add a div, and inside div we need to define the icon. So if you remember, right, inside our logo preview we added this method, right? So I will copy this method as it is, and inside the icon controller I will paste it here because we want the, so not icon controller but in icon list we'll paste it here. We don't want rotate, so I will remove this rotate logic from here and then save it. Now simply we'll use icon, and then for this icon we'll pass the name, which is the icon only, okay, because every time we are iterating the icon, and that icon name we pass. The color will pass as a hash 000, and the size I will pass as a 20. Okay, this is a defined one because we don't want to change every time. Now let's save this one. Let's save everything and go back to our application. If I open this one, okay, we got an error. Let's see the error. inside the console. So it's saying the icon is not defined. Obviously we copy paste this particular method, right, the icons. Let me bring this one. So make sure to import this from the Lucide React first and then save it. If I close this one, open this, and if you see, we have all the list of icons. Perfect. Obviously we need to style this one. So for here, class name, let's give grid column 2 when the screen size is small. When the screen size is medium or larger, let's say for medium we'll add grid column 4, and for large we'll add grid column 5. Then we'll also give a gap of, let's say, 4, and let's see how it looks. Perfect. Then obviously if you see, right, I am not able to scroll that one, so we need to add the scrollable, right? So for this div we'll add overflow auto, and also we'll define some predefined height of 400 pixel. Perfect. Now if you see, you can able to scroll it. Also here we'll give a maximum width, let's say large, and here we'll say minimum width to be medium. Let's see how it looks. That's not look good. So okay, we give the width, let's say maximum height large, and minimum height medium. I don't know whether it will work or not. I don't think so it's working as expected. It's better to define the height like this, 400 pixel. Okay, let's save this one, and now we have this proper. Let's give some style. So this one I'm gonna add some padding of 6, and then for this div let's add a class name, let's add a border, we'll add a padding of 3, then we'll make flex rounded to be small, and then we'll make item to be in the center. Okay, and let's make sure to justify center. If I go back now, if you see, we have beautiful list of icon where you can pick the icon. Also make it cursor pointer and save it. Now as soon as user click on this one, right, let's add an on click method over this, and for this on click method, right, we'll set selected, or we'll just say selected icon, and then we'll pass the name of the icon. Okay, so here we'll pass the name of the icon. Along with that one, we also make sure we'll close the dialog. So here we'll say set open dialog to be false. Okay, now as soon as you select the icon, right, this selected icon we need to pass to our parent component. So here as a prop I will pass back to this icon controller where we use this icon list component, right? If you see, we have selected icon, and then we'll define a state for it. So constant icon comma set icon is equal to use state, and here we'll simply add icon set icon as an icon, and whenever the icon also change, we'll make sure to execute this use effect, and now instead of the smile we'll add the icon. Okay, and obviously same thing we have to do. The default value we need to add it here, and when nothing is there we'll add simply smile, and here need to be icon. Perfect. Let's save it and let's go back to our application. Let's change this to some other icon. See, obviously you can change the size or rotate, and if I change this one, see, the icon also get changed immediately, right? Now another thing is, right, see this over here, right, this is the preview, is still the same one, right? Let's update that one too. So inside this icon list, right, let's do one thing. We'll get this storage value from here. So let's get the storage value, not this one, but let me go to the controller, and we'll get the storage value, and we'll put inside our icon list. Okay, and then we'll also get the icon set icon method over here. Okay, and I think we are good. Obviously whenever we set the icon, we also set the icon value as well, and so that we can just replace over here. Now instead of using the smile, we can use the icon with the same property. So I'll copy as it is and we'll paste it here and save it. Now if we change this to this one, see here the icon get changed, and here as well the icon get updated. Even though if I refresh, the changes are still there. Okay, so that's how you can add the icon picker, your own icon picker inside your library. Now obviously at the end of this course, I'm also gonna teach you how to add the colorful icon to your application, right? So this we can add the another icon picker where that will be a paid for the only for the paid user, and I'm going to teach you how to add that one as well. But for now, I hope you understand how to implement that one, right? Also in the next video we're gonna learn, or sorry, in the next chapter we're gonna learn how to download this icon once user make the modification and the user is ready to download the icon after making all of the update. Okay, so we'll see you in the next chapter. Now we are going to add the download functionality. So obviously if you see, we have this download button inside the header component, and our preview has their own icon preview component, right? And obviously on the click of download, we have to make sure to execute the function or method which we return inside the icon preview. So let's go back. Let me close all of this tab, and let's go to this app.jsx file first. Let's understand, here is the header and here is the logo preview, right? So there are two ways that you can do it. Obviously you can pass the on click method, and then you can pass that method to the logo preview, or you can create a context, and from the context you just need to update the context, and through that as well you can do that. But let's do it in a simple way. So let's go to the header, and here we have this button. Let's add a on click method, and here we'll say download icon. Okay, now this method will pass back to the header. Okay, now inside the header we'll accept that download icon, and obviously we need to set that particular value in state first. Now here we'll define the state first, constant download icon comma set download icon is equal to use state, and here we'll simply set download icon. And now this download icon method we're gonna pass to the logo preview as a download icon. Now let's save this one, and inside the logo preview make sure to get that download icon, and then once we have the download icon you need to add the use effect, and inside the use effect we're going to add if condition. If the download icon is there, then only execute the line of code. So here we'll say button click, for example. But the thing is, we need to pass the download icon here. Whenever this download icon has some value, then this use effect will get executed. But obviously in order to execute this use effect, right, this download icon button need to have some value, and that value is different from the previous value. So for that one, let's go to the header, and here inside the download icon we pass the timestamp, the current timestamp, using this dot now. Okay, so every millisecond, even though you click it, right, every time you will get the new value, and this new value will set to this download icon, and from the download icon you will pass that information to this logo preview. Okay, and inside the logo preview we added inside the use effect so that it will execute this console log. Let's save everything and let's test this out. So let's open the inspect panel, go to the console, clean everything. Now if I click download, you will see the button click. See, if I download multiple times, the button click get executed. Okay, so that's how you can add the button click from the different child component through the parent component. Now let's go back and define the method over here. So we'll define constant download png icon, or we'll say png logo. This need to be a logo, actually download logo instead of icon. You can make that one change. Now here we need to define first, okay, let's first define the add the id. So here the div which you want to download, so in this case we want to download this div. Here we pass the id, and here we'll say download logo div. Okay, and then simply over here we'll take the reference of that one. So here we constant download logo div is equal to document dot get element by id, and here we'll pass that name of the id. Then in order to download, we are going to use this HTML to canvas library. Okay, this is very powerful library and very popular as well, so make sure to install this library. And then once you install it, right here it has the method HTML to canvas. Make sure it will get imported, and then you can just simply say div download logo div, and then the arrow function. Here I'm gonna add background as a null, so we'll get the actual png image, and then method, because it's written a promise, so we'll get the canvas and then arrow function. Now inside this one we'll define some property. So it's a png image, right? So here we'll say canvas dot to data url, and here we'll simply define image slash png. Then we'll get a download link is equal to document dot create element, the anchor tag. Then download link dot h reference. You will get the suggestion, okay, as soon as you type here is equal to png image. Then download link dot download is equal to you can give the file name, whatever the file name you want. So in this case I will give tube guruji logo express .png. Okay, and the last will download link dot click, because this particular method also help us to download this particular file. And now the download png logo will add it over here and then save it. Okay, let's save it and test this out. So let's go back, let's refresh the screen, make sure everything's good. Now if I change this logo to this alarm logo, you can change the size. If you want to change color, you can change the color. Let's change the background as well. Let's say a black background, that's good. And here now if I click download, see the new logo is downloaded, and boom, if you see the downloaded logo, and it's completely the pixel perfect, means it a high resolution logo. Okay, now if I want to go to the again the different icon, and let's say if you want to download this icon, right here I'm going to change the size. Let's go to the background. Here I want to change the background to a gradient effect. Okay, and obviously I will change the icon color to white, and now click download. And if I downloaded this one, and boom, you got the perfect logo for your application. And that's how you're gonna install or download the icon. I hope you understand how to implement this download functionality with the help of HTML canvas, right? If you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Here I will just mark used to download the icon in PNG format. Let's save it. Now in this section we are going to add some more icon, but with some tricks. So right now we have only one color icon, and we are giving user ability to change the color, but we're gonna add some colorful icon so that they can directly use in their logo. Also right now if you see, if I open this dialog, I'm not able to close this particular window So for that one, let's go to this icon list, and inside the dialog we have one method called on open change, and here we just pass this set on open dialog, okay, and it will automatically make it false. If I click it now, see, it closes. Okay, perfect. Now the thing is, on this particular dialog we're gonna add a tab, okay, one to select this icon and one for the colorful icons. So in order to add the tab, let's go to the shadcn UI, and under this one we have the component called tabs. So this is how the tab works. So in order to install it, first copy this command and install through this terminal. Next, once it install, you have to import this import statement. So obviously we will we are going to show in icon list only, so I will import it here. And then this is the tab, which this is the sample example, right? That's what we are going to use it. So let me close this tab, and over here I will paste it. Before making any change, right now let's make the tab trigger. So this trigger, let me save and let's see how it looks first. So right now if you see, we have these two tabs, okay. So we're gonna change the name. Here we'll say icons, here we'll say color icons. Then the value which belong to it, I will also gonna change. Obviously you can give any name whatever you want, and the default is I will keep icon, and this is the content which render when the selection of on the selection of the tab. Now on the first on the selection of the first tab, icon tab, right here we gonna show that content. So obviously we already have that one, we'll just copy paste over here and then save it, okay. And on the color icon, here I will just write color icon list and save it. Now if I go back to our application, see, it changes, okay. But obviously we don't have the icon list yet, okay, for the colors one. So obviously we're gonna fetch that one. So I already have the API which I created, okay, and this is the endpoint for that one. So you can also use that one for free. So this is called logoexpress.uberg.com/getIcons, okay. So I will copy this, and at the top I will create a constant. We'll say base underscore URL is equal to, and then I will paste this URL. Now in order to make an API call fetch data, I am going to use Axios. So make sure to import this Axios HTTP client. This is the command, just type npm I Axios and click enter. And once it installed, right, we can create a new method. We can call it at get png icons, and here we'll simply call constant, not constant, but here we'll call axios dot get, and then the base URL will pass dot then, and then we'll get the response. So inside the console.log, inside the response.data, through the response.data we'll get the result. Now obviously this get png icon we need to call inside the use effect when the component get at very first time, like this, okay, and then save it. Now if I go back to our application, and then let's observe the console. So if I go to the console log, so let me bring this and refresh the screen, and if you see, we got the list of all the icons. So this is just a file name, okay. Now in order to access the actual image, right, you just need to go to this, let me zoom this, go to this /png/ and paste the file name, and boom, if you see, you got the icon, okay. So that's how you can access the icon. Don't worry, this particular URL I will make sure it's available for you guys to use it, but you can also create your own API. It's very easy. What I did, I already have this on Hostinger. I have this get icon.php code which help us to read the files from the given folder, and then through this png I already have all the icons, okay. So that's how you can read it, or you can use any technique to fetch that icons. Now once we have the icon, we need to save in one state. So we'll define one state over here. So constant png icon list comma set png icon list is equal to use state, and then simply over here we'll set the set png icon list as response dot data. Okay, perfect. Now we have the list of png icons. Now I will copy the same div over here and we'll modify that one. So in this color icon, obviously we'll need to pass the png icon list. This png icon list will iterate, but instead of this icon we're gonna use the actual image. So image source tag. Okay, so here we'll obviously let me do one thing. So this will be the base URL, right? So obviously this base URL will keep as it is because we want to reuse this, and over here along with this one we'll just do slash get icons dot php, and over here because we want to use base URL, I'm going to write base URL plus slash png, and then we'll add the file name which is the icon. Okay, and let's save this one. Now if I go back to our application and go to this icon and select the color icon, and boom, if you see we got the bunch of icon over here. Okay, and that's how you have the list of icon now, and on the left hand side you have this basic icon, and here you have the advanced icon. Perfect. Now on the select we have this, we are selecting the icon and everything, right? And if I select this icon, boom, something is missing, right? So over here you will see the icon is not showing, and here as well icon is not showing, because initially we are just showing the icons through this Lucide icon. Now we have the actual png image, and that png image we need to render it through the condition. So that's what we are going to see next. Now whenever we select the any icon, right, from the colors icon, right now it's not displaying on the screen. So let's fix this issue. So right now obviously we are setting the icon, and if I go back to the local storage just to make sure that it's updating there, so if I go to the value, right, here you will find the icon with this particular icon name. If I open any of the icon like this, see it changes, right? It means the local storage is getting updated. Now let's go back to this local icon list where we have this the icon, the first icon, right? Over here we're gonna add a condition. Here we'll simply add icon, let me check it's correct or not. Yeah, icon. So here we'll just check icon dot includes the text called png, because the extension is png, right? We'll check if icon string includes this png, then we're gonna show the image source over here. So image source, and then here we need to display the image. Obviously we will use the base URL. So here we'll say base URL plus slash png slash and the icon name which is icon. Okay, otherwise we will show this Lucide icon and then save it. Now here we need to give width and height, but first if you see over here it's showing the icon. Now if I select the any icon from here, let's select this Pokemon icon. See, now it's getting changed or updated on to this placeholder. In the same way we need to update inside this icon preview. So let's go to the icon preview or logo preview, sorry, and inside the logo preview here we're gonna update it. So storage value dot icon, here we'll add optional dot includes the extension called dot png, then we're gonna show image source. Okay, otherwise we will show this Lucide icon. Now let's me go to this icon list first. From here we need to get this base URL, and then I am gonna paste it here. So if I go back to this image source, here we'll just display the base URL plus slash png slash and the name of the icon, which is storage value dot icon. Okay, and obviously in the style we need to apply the height, which is the storage value dot size, and same for the width as well. We're gonna give the same value. For rotate as well, we're gonna add rotate value, but right now we'll keep as it is and then save it. Now if I go back to our application and boom, if you see the image is showing. Now if I go here and select other image, let's say burger, and if you see, you can even change this size. Everything will work as expected, and over here you will see the whatever the color icon you pick, it will be there. Okay, that's how cool it is, correct? So that's how guys you can add it. Now if I try to download this icon, right, it's getting downloaded, but the issue is, see, our icon is not displaying over here. Only color icon is not getting exported or downloaded when we download this complete icon. Then the question is, what is the issue in that one, right? So the thing is, when we use this HTML to canvas, right, in order to download it, HTML to canvas will not download the image from the URL. Okay, means it will not add on their canvas because of the security purpose. Okay, and for that one we need to add a proxy server inside our React Vite application. So in order to work this particular logic and in order to export this PNG image, we need to add the proxy server. So for that one, let's go to this vite.config.js file. Inside here I created this server. Okay, I will just uncomment this one. So inside the define corp, you can just export this server with the port number, whatever the port number you give. Make sure it is a strict port as a true, and then you have to provide the proxy, okay, using /png, and when you do /png, it will go to this domain /png, and then you will get the data. Okay, so let's test this out. So let's save this one, and once you save it, right, go to your project, and here if let's stop this server first. So I will stop it here and rerun it again, npm run dev. Now in this case you will see your local server is running on your own custom port, okay, which is localhost 3333. Just open this one, click on it, and boom, it's open on that particular port. Okay, now obviously from here you can change the icon, select the color icon, and I will select the icon which I want. Okay, everything will work as it is. But if I go to this /png and some file name, right, see, now I can able to access that image through that parameter or through this route as well. That's how cool, right? So that's how you can add it. Now what you need to do, let's go back to your application, and inside the logo preview, right, instead of base URL, you don't need to add a base URL. Now you just need to add image source /png and storage value, and that's all. Now if you see, nothing get changed. If I refresh the screen, oh sorry, this is the old one. Let me go to localhost 333, and boom, if you see, the image is still there. Even though you change this image, it will work. If you want to move this image, you can immediately move it, right? So select the image now, let's say burger. Here I will change the size. Let's go to the background. Here I'm going to add a pad, a rounded corner. I will add a gradient effect like this, and then download. Now you downloaded this one, and boom, now in this particular logo you will see now your image is included. Okay, so that's how you need to add the proxy URL or a proxy server when you are downloading through the HTML canvas. Okay, so guys, I hope you understand this particular functionality and the particular setup. If you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Now it's time to deploy our application on the cloud so that you can share this project with your friends and family. So first thing, let's go to the GitHub and create a new repo. So here I'm going to create a new repository, and I will call it as a logo express, and let's make this private and then create repo. So once you create this repository, right, you need to initialize the Git So let's copy this one and just initialize the git. Once you initialize, you need to add this remote origin. Okay, so let me clear this and add the remote origin. Next you need to add all the files, then do commit. So here we'll say initial commit, and then you need to push it. Okay, so in order to push it, you are pushing first time, so you need to push with this origin main, and boom, now if you see, all your code are pushed to the GitHub. Okay, and everything is here. Now let's go to the Vercel. And if you never use the Vercel, so Vercel is very powerful cloud service provider where you can deploy your application. Now if you don't have an account, create a new account and then click add new project. Here if you see, I connected my repository with the GitHub, and you will see the project name which you just push, right? And just click import. You can give whatever the name you want. I gave the project name as a Logo Express. We'll keep all the configuration as it is, and then click deploy. Now it will take few seconds to deploy your application. Right now if you see, the project is getting built, then it will install the dependency, and then it will deploy your application. So we'll wait. And now if you see, our application is deployed, and boom, right now if I go to the dashboard, here you will see the domain called logoexpress.vercel.app, and if I open this one, you will see the logo. Let me refresh it. So okay, so refresh once, and I think we are good. And now if you see on the screen, we have this option to select the icon, the color icon. You can select the one, and everything will work as it is. Okay, perfect. And obviously you have option to download it. If I click download, you will see it's getting downloaded, and boom, our icon is ready to use it. So that's how you can deploy your application. So guys, that's all for this particular course. I hope you enjoy this particular project, and you definitely, I know you definitely learn that how to build this logo making application. If you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. And if you still did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. Now we'll see you in the next video.